just one more time. I want to thank you for all that you have done, because you make it better before we even fall on our knees. It's awesome to know that we serve a mighty God, an awesome God, one who is worthy to be praised. He makes it better even before we fall on our knees. You make it better.
Walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. Waiting for change to come, knowing the battle's won, for you have never failed me yet. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You've never failed me yet. I know the night won't last. Your word will come to pass. My heart will sing your praise again. Jesus, you're still enough.
Jesus, you're still enough.
Oh, so keep me
within your love.
My heart will sing your
praise again.
Oh, promise still stay. Promise still stay.
Great is your faithfulness.
Still in your hands. I'm still in your hands.
This is my confidence.
You never fail. Your promise still stays. Great is your faithfulness. Faithfulness. And I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never failed me yet. Never failed me yet. Woo! Standing on your word. You never failed me. You never failed me. I'll trust you, God. I'll trust you, God. I see you move. You move the mountain, and I believe I'll see you do it again. You made a way, yeah, where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do it again.
Move the mountain, and I believe
I'll see you do it. Hey, you made a way where there was no way, and I believe I'll see you do. I've seen you move. You move the mountain. still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. Still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never failed me yet. Never will. Still in your will. Never failed me yet. Never will forget. No, never failed me yet. Thank you, Lord. Oh, thank you, Lord. You've never failed me yet. Faithful to your word, true to your promise. You never failed me yet.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
The views expressed on
Connecting
this
the
program
community
are not
through
necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine. Ask Elaine, where to ask Elaine.
All right, here you see us again. Good afternoon. It's Wednesday, of course, and this is Ask Elaine, your weekly talk and information program. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, now Water Board member. Just thanking you for tuning in each week and for being such a supportive audience. We want to thank those folks who are on AM, those who are on FM, and those who are looking at us right here on the Glory Live. And we also want to thank the wonderful folks here at the station, historic WDDO, who are hosting this program. We just want to thank you for allowing us to bring this information each week. We want to welcome Randy Crawford, who has joined us. He's always Mr. Early. He always is on even before the program actually comes on, and we're just so happy to have him. Those of you who've tuned in via the glory. If you would please hit like and share so that you can remind others that Ask Elaine is on the air. Kimberly Houston is with us. Good afternoon to you. We have a special guest today, and she is none other than Deborah Opie, and she has been with us before. She was here last year a couple of times, and she has such interesting information. This is stuff, folks, that you're not going to hear too many other places. But we intentionally bring you this information so that you'll be aware of what's going on and you can spread the word to other folks. We want to express our condolences to families who have lost loved ones. We want to express our condolences to our Superior Court clerk, Miss Erica Woodford, and her family in the loss of her dad, Mr. Lawsey Woodford. His services are going to be tomorrow. I knew Lawsy a long, long time ago and have known that family for a long time. Many of my friends knew him as well. And they always knew him as an upstanding citizen in this community. And so we want to express our condolences to our clerk of Superior Court, Erica Woodford, in the loss of her dad, to Miss Bessie, her mom, and the loss of her husband and the other family members. We also want to say congratulations to all those who are graduating. We want to say congratulations to all those who have pledged sororities and fraternities. My great niece, Skylar Poole, who was the valedictorian at Central High School 3 years ago, pledged Delta, my sorority, and I had the distinct honor of pitting her in Athens this weekend. Uh, uh, Last year, my granddaughter, Al's daughter, Mariah, received her pen from her other grandmom who was out in California with her. She graduated from the University of San Francisco, and she also pledged Delta. So we just want to congratulate all of them. But whatever you pledged, it was a hard job. We know that. And so you are truly worthy if you were chosen to be accepted for membership in these honored sisterhoods or brotherhoods. So we want to salute you and just say, keep on moving. Keep on moving. These are wonderful achievements. So, Miss Opie, I got the pronunciation correct. Has, as I said, has been with us before, and she shared some information I know that you didn't know. And so we're going to let her go ahead and kind of refresh our memory on some of the things. This is information that you need to know about that not a whole lot of other people know about. So, we're glad you tuned in. Y'all, please hit like and share and remind others that they're about to miss some wonderful information. After this first segment, then I think the senator's gonna make it. If somebody sees him somewhere, tell him he's supposed to be on Ask Elaine at 3:30. Y'all go on and tell him. Just tap on the window or stop him from talking and about Soul Jam and with Anthony Hamilton. Soul Jam with Anthony Hamilton. It's gonna be something else. Stop him from talking about Soul Jam and send him on this way because he's supposed to be here at the studio in a little bit. But welcome once again. It's wonderful to have you with us.
I am so honored to be here. And first, I want to thank Ask Elaine for having me here today.
It's a
Again,
pleasure.
my name is Deborah Opie, and I am here to bring the heat.
She wants your he wants your headphones on.
Oh, not bad.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay, first of all, I want to thank Ask Elaine for having me here today. Again, my name is Deborah Opie, and I'm here today to bring the heat on issues
Uh-oh.
that matters when it comes to our Georgia electric co-ops right here in Middle Georgia. So I want to talk about you as a member owner and how you can take charge of your power, literally. We all know what happened on November 5th. We all have at some point experienced the anxiety, the walking into the unknown, not knowing what to expect. But I bring you good news today.
Uh-oh.
And the news is what we're about to talk about is fully, fully within your control. If you are a member owner, you have every right to decide, to determine how your electric membership cooperative operates. You have that power.
EMCs.
EMCs,
Hmm.
local power. Here in Bibb County, you have Oconee, you have Flint Energies, you have Central Georgia, you have Tri Cities, and you have one more I think I missed. But there are 5 EMCs in the county
Hmm.
of Bibb.
Okay, tell them what EMCs are.
EMC is Electric Membership Cooperatives.
Hmm.
Let me tell you what that means.
All right, then.
If you pay an electric bill to a cooperative, you are not a customer. You're a member. You're a member owner. You're a part
Oh.
owner of a multi-million-dollar company. Back in the 1930s, when they started putting electricity in homes, they chose to put them in the urban areas, but they didn't put them in the rural areas because it was too expensive.
Hmm.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the president back then, and many of you may know he had polio. And he used to come to
To
Georgia,
Georgia, that's right. Warm
Warm
Springs.
Springs,
Uh
to
huh.
get treatment. And when he came, he realized that the rural areas still didn't have electricity. So when he went back to Washington, he started the Rural Electrification Administration. And out of that Rural Electrification Administration birth rural cooperatives. So what that meant was, because the people in the rural areas did not have electricity, they were given the okay to start their own electric companies,
Oh, okay.
right? So first of all, you're not a customer, you're a member. Membership has its privileges and it has its responsibilities.
Hmm.
So, one of the reasons that we do this work, and when I say we, I mean Georgia Conservation Voters slash Education Fund. When I say education fund, my job is to go around the state of Georgia and educate member owners what it means to be a member and not a customer.
Hmm. So, before you keep going, this is so interesting and so worthwhile. But how does one know if they are a member of an EMC?
If you get your utility bill, first of all, it doesn't matter which bill comes in the mail. It behooves all of us to read our
Absolutely.
bills. As a member owner, there is a member fee that you pay every month. It varies, the cost varies, but generally it's around $25. It's a membership fee. It
Hmm.
really truly is a member owner private type of club, right?
Oh, okay.
Why that is important is that our organization can't get access to a lot of the information that only members have access to. So, for that reason, we work closely with member owners to um, find out what type of member services and benefits that they get.
Hmm.
There are 7 core principles that each EMC is supposed to follow. One of those core principles being that members should be part of the democratic process. So when I
One of our listeners and our statistics man Patrick Davis says Southern Rivers EMC in
that was the fifth one.
Lizella. That's where he lives, based out of Barnesville. He mentioned that on the chat. Thank you, Patrick. Go ahead.
Awesome, awesome, Patrick. And so what that means is that you have a voice in how your electric co-op runs. Take for instance Georgia Power. Georgia Power has customers, but they also have stockholders or shareholders, right? Any funds that are above the operating costs, any profit goes back to who? The shareholders.
Right.
As a member owner, any profits above operating costs is supposed to go back to the member.
Okay.
It is called capital credits. EMCs have the discretion to distribute those profits through crediting your electric bill or sending you a check.
Mhm.
What we're finding out in the state of Georgia that not all of our EMCs are following that practice.
Oh, so there's some folks owed some money in one way or the other, but they don't
Absolutely.
know.
They don't know that
Uh-huh.
they're owed money.
Yeah. Does that sound familiar, y'all? Go ahead. Go ahead.
And so one of the things that I do, uh, and the title again is Georgia Conservation Voters Education Fund. I travel throughout the state and I educate communities. We talk about three areas that our organization has done to rate our EMCs. By the way, there are 41 EMCs in the state of Georgia.
Mm.
41, right? It covers over 4.4 um, million people in the state of Georgia.
And people really don't think about who provides. They say Georgia Power because that's the generic term for, who provides your electricity, but it's not necessarily Georgia Power. There are some others. So the first thing you need to do is find out who's providing your electricity.
Yes, you have some that are called. I am a EMC member. I
Hmm.
have Greystone Power. At one point, I've had Cobb EMC. Again, there are 41 EMCs. The way our EMCs are designed, like each county can serve several EMCs, or several EMCs serve
Hmm.
members of each county. For instance, um, Central Georgia EMCs serves 13 counties,
Oh my.
but there are not a lot of people
Yeah,
and
that'll be,
that are
yeah.
being served from each
Uh-huh.
county, but it's
Uh-huh.
13 different counties.
Yeah.
And so, even though I would just say that um, my EMC Greystone serves almost over 100,000 people. Cobb EMC serves over 200,000 people.
Hmm.
So we have as little as 30,000 people up to over 200,000 people
Yeah.
that a particular EMC serves.
Well, see, I can understand why people don't know about it. First of all, it's not a conversation that you have all the time. That's why your organization is so important in getting the word out. Because, folks, there are some people who are a part of these different EMCs that are due some money, or at least you can. Know that you're in the mix, that you've got a decision that you can make as to how you get your your
Capital
money.
credit.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's written in the bylaws. So each EMC has their own bylaws. There are certain rules that they have to follow, but they do have latitude in how they conduct their business. One of the things is that if you are not being credited on your electric bill, you are supposed to receive a check, capital credit, whatever the
Mhm.
profit is,
Mhm.
your portion as a member. However, there are some EMCs who, for some reason, seem to be unable to make a profit. They're
Oh.
continually getting loans to do this, to do that. And
So
it's
there's never any money to hand out to the membership.
that's the understanding,
Uh-huh.
right? Nobody's really investigated, but that's the understanding.
Uh-huh.
And so when you take out loans for 30, 50 years, right, that it takes you to pay off the loan, nobody had, you have the discretion to say whether or not there's money available to give your members,
Oh my.
or even if there's a
Yeah,
profit.
yeah, yeah. Patrick, post in the chat whether you're aware of all of this through your EMC. Let us know whether you were aware of it and if you have received your check and or an offer for your electric service being credited. Post that in the chat. In the meantime, we want to welcome Kimberly Houston, Randy Crawford. I think Cheryl Finney was from this morning, but y'all please like and share and remind people that Ask Elaine, your voice is on the air. And we have a very special guest today. It's Deborah Opie, and she is with the Georgia Conservation Voters. And she's providing information to us, information that we don't hear all the time. So we're glad to have her here today to share this. And the first thing that you've got to do is to determine whether you are a member of the an EMC, because if you are, then you may be owed something. You might get to go. Patrick says, I haven't received a check in at least 5 years. So at one point, were you receiving I'm assuming that you received a check, Patrick, since you said you haven't received a check in at least 5 years. So apparently, the Southern Rivers EMC has found a use for that residual money. So, um, Patrick, if you don't mind sharing with us what you've been with Southern Rivers since 1999? Yeah, yeah. As far as you know.
I
Uh
I think it's worth a phone call
huh.
to find out why he hasn't received a capital credit. It could be that there is no profit. It
Uh
could
huh.
be something go on. Every EMC is not a large EMC,
Okay.
right? But if there is a profit, it is supposed to go back to member owners,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
The other thing that I think member owners should understand that every year, every single year, 25, 26, 27, and beyond, there is a election for board members. There is an election for board members. And some of our EMCs have been giving people the okey doke,
Mhm.
right? Board members are elected by the members. They are elected by the members. Every year, seats are open. They rotate on a 3 year cycle. Say, for instance, there are 9 board members. For year one, maybe seat 3, 7, and 5 are
Mhm.
open. And then the
Mhm.
next year, it'll be 1, 2, and 4. And
Yeah.
every year, there is a seat open. Contrary to popular belief, if you are a member in good standing, you can run for your board of directors. No previous experience required. You
Uh huh.
can run. Um, there is an EMC, Colquitt EMC.
Mhm.
They have a board member that's been on their board since 1979.
1979, y'all.
1979. There is no term limit.
So he goes to the meeting, and he, of course, cast his vote for everybody that's been on there, like him, like 1979. They eat the steak and go home.
Well, the majority of the board members are uncontested. The
Uh
seats
huh.
are
Of
uncontested.
course.
They're not contested because people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Another
Mm-hmm.
board member of Colquitt has been on there since 1984. People don't know.
We want to welcome Pastor Lisa Watson to Asking Lane. We're talking about EMCs. And Ms. Opie is providing this information with the Georgia Conservation Voters. She's providing this information. She was our special guest last year and talked about this, but we wanted to have her to come back and provide this information again. If any of our listeners are members of an EMC, or you're just not aware, you are aware that you're a member of an EMC, let us know. Post something in the chat or give us a call. And we would be glad. Patrick adds 10 members on Southern Rivers EMC board, just one black person, Andy Bush. And I'm not familiar with that person, but apparently Patrick is aware. Patrick's aware of everything.
I love it.
He keeps up with everything. Uh Patrick, you need to become a member of that board.
And it's not political. It's not Republican and Democrat. It's non-political. But we need people on the board that reflects the communities they serve,
Hmm.
right?
Right, like our water board
Yes.
locally, a number of boards in this majority black community that has all these different boards that are majority white and discriminate at will, do what they want to do, change the rules overnight, change the rules at will, and tell you I did it because I'm the chair.
Well,
That's what they tell you.
one of the things that makes the EMC unique is that once people understand that they can vote who they
Hmm.
want in, it shifts the game,
Oh,
right?
I'm
And
sure.
it transforms the community. But one of the things that we're running into is that not all, but some of our EMCs um, don't want the people to know that they can vote.
Of course. Of
So
course not.
what happens is they have what they call annual meetings, right? And
Yeah.
they invite people to the annual drive-through meeting, which is
Mhm.
really not a meeting.
Mhm.
And they give people what we call trinkets and trash.
Well, yeah.
All right. So you may get a water bottle, a wristband, a keychain. You get,
Chicken breast,
yeah, a
you know.
brochure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may get
You
a
get
little
chicken
Chick-fil-A.
breast.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then they send you about your way,
Mhm.
never mentioning voting.
Mhm. Mhm.
Central Georgia EMC, when we got into this work back in 22, Central Georgia EMC um, has 49,000 members. Do you know
Mm.
how many people voted in 22?
No, but
661.
anyway, um Patrick says Patrick for EMC, and I'm all for that. Let
I'm
me
all
know
for that,
when you.
Patrick.
And then he says Andy Bush is from Barnesville, went to Fort Valley State University. He's a farmer, and so he knew about it. He found out about it, so he's been just that member that knew about it. But we've got to spread the word to other folks because there are an awful lot of people that need to take advantage of their rights
Absolutely.
under.
Absolutely. And so, one of the responsibilities of being a member, just like Georgia Power is regulated by the Public Service Commission,
Hmm.
these EMCs are accountable to the members.
Sounds just so good
But if the
to me.
members don't know,
Right,
who's holding them accountable?
right, right, right.
Who's setting up term limits? Who's making sure that they're representing the community? Right? That's why I go through and educate communities about EMCs,
Uh-huh.
the benefits of being a member, but also the responsibilities. And I'm going to give you a prime example. Mitchell EMC, we did not run a candidate for Mitchell EMC this year, but we decided to do outreach to educate community. We have been knocking doors, we have been making phone calls. There was a news report from Mitchell EMC that said that there was a scam. People were calling people, telling
Hmm.
them to vote at their annual meeting. I'm gonna let that sit there for a minute.
Oh.
The scam was that people were calling member owners asking them to show up at the annual meeting and vote.
And so well,
That's the purpose of having
uh-huh,
the annual
uh-huh,
meeting, is so
uh-huh.
that people can vote. I had a member of Mitchell EMC read the newsletter that they sent out, and it talked about the annual meeting coming up. We invite you to the annual meeting. That registration begins at 10 a.m. and ends,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, it begins at 7 a.m., ends
Mm-hmm.
at 10 a.m. promptly. Never mention the word voting.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
You get in the line in your car, you drive, you get in the line, you tell them who you are, I guess that you're a member, and they give you your package and you go on about your way. So, my question is, who's voting?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
These are some of the things that we've got to do differently when it comes to our EMCs.
We do. We certainly
And
do.
it's not all EMCs, but it's the EMCs where the members don't realize that they're part owners.
Patrick says that the Mitchell EMC that you referenced, that members are encouraged to attend the drive-through annual meeting scheduled for April 18th, 2025.
Absolutely.
So, Mitchell, where is that?
It's in Camilla. They have like three
Oh,
offices. One
they,
is in Albany, but
yeah.
they're voting in Camilla this year.
There's some stuff going on in Camilla because there was something
Yes.
else that went on during the election back in November where people were told not to go vote or something. That's a strange kind of place there. We got to do a little bit more research and find out
I'm
what it is that's going on in
Why would
Camilla.
you not encourage people to vote?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
clearly says in their bylaws, section 201, which I've read,
Uh-huh.
that the purpose of the annual meeting, one of the purposes is to elect board members. But if you don't want your members to vote, who's voting?
Camilla and
I'm
Albany.
just
Uh-huh.
asking.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And you have an organization who's trying to encourage your members to vote,
Yes.
but you say it's a scam and it's not official, and
That's pitiful.
you
That is
know,
pitiful. Wade Horton has joined us, and Wade says he did not know that information.
wow.
It's good stuff, and he's really really interested in it. Wade, we need you to call in so that you can tell us about that hearing. I heard you got suspended off of the bus. um you know, what is a blind man doing getting suspended off of a paratransit bus, and then they suspend you, and the regs call for a hearing before the suspension, and your old buddy Craig Ross is at it again. He is one of the, oh, he is so evil. I don't know whether he or Trump or I just have a pile of these folks that are so evil. Um, Wade, we're going to need for you to call in so that you can tell us about the hearing that took. Y'all see the senator creeping in back here.
I
Senator, this is Deborah
Hello.
Opie.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm
She's
well. How are
with
you?
Conservation Voters, and she has been telling us about EMCs, and I know you're familiar with them.
Yeah.
And she's letting folks know that they need to get involved. They need to know, first of all, whether they are members of an EMC first. Put your headphones on, please, sir, if you don't mind, since you're
You the boss.
late anyway. No, I'm not the boss, obviously, because bosses make you
Don't
come
y'all
on
let 'em-
time.
Don't y'all let them fool y'all
Y'all,
with that.
y'all. Patrick says that the Mitchell EMC has a 9-member board, all white and primarily Republican. Ooh, who would have known? Keep in mind, Albany, Sylvester, and Camilla are majority black cities.
Absolutely.
But that EMC, where they're supposed to have meetings and options for you to either get a check or get a credit on your utilities, all of these black folks are missing out on what they should be getting. Um, Wade says that he's going to call in. If you will go ahead and call in, Wade, so that we can give you a few minutes to talk about that so-called hearing that you had yesterday, where it was a bogus thing because they really had the wrong membership on the committee sitting in judgment over this man, and it was just the most ridiculous thing
Call a kangaroo
that
court.
it was a kangaroo court. And if they do anything other than say, I'm so sorry that we wasted your time, then they are really just full of it. They are
Wow.
full of it. Miss Opie, keep your seat if you can, because we want you to be a part of the ongoing discussion, the rest of this discussion. It's
Okay.
so good to have you with us today. Senator, you finished up. If you'll get close to that mic there, I know you've got a good excuse for
So,
zipping in here late, but
soul jam
Soul
chicken.
Jam, of course. All right, Wade is on the line. Uh, Wade,
Hello, how you
Wade,
doing, Bookie?
welcome to
Yes, can you hear me?
Elaine. Wade,
Hold on one second. Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. How you doing today?
We're doing just great, just great. I am amazed at how you had folks back on their heels on yesterday. We had a real legal team in that meeting yesterday, didn't we?
Oh yeah. You know what?
And
I
you were
want to
the
thank.
lead
I want to thank.
counsel.
I want to thank you. I want to thank Commissioner Stewart. I want to thank my cousin Jackie Glover. I want to thank a couple of guys from Pleasant Hill that came, Maurice
Oh, they
and
were
Harry.
fantastic.
And the support that I get from the community, Macon and Middle Georgia, because there'll been some people outside of Macon that has really stepped up and just gave me a lot of encouragement. So it's good
Yeah.
to
Well,
do
Wade,
that.
they said you threatened them, that you called to set up a ride, paratransit ride. And even though the regulations say that they must work with you to set up your ride, there are all kinds of rules and regulations that they must. This is Macon Transit Authority that we're talking about. That they must work with you to set up a plan for you to get to where you need to go. And it's not free. You pay a cost for your transportation. And so they said that you threatened them. Did you
And
threaten them? Wade?
I absolutely did not threaten. And the letter that I got said that I threatened the dispatch. And the
Uh-huh.
letter that this dispatch read said that didn't say that I threatened her.
No, it didn't.
She she said she felt threatened. I can't
Yeah,
help that you feel threatened by me giving you some knowledge about what the law says. I am going to continue to do that when you're not doing what the law says you're supposed to do, as opposed to my transportation here and there.
right.
So
Well, it
I
was
might be
obvious
guilty of
to
it
me.
again.
Well, it was obvious to me that this person was not threatened. We even went on to talk about the definition of threat, just what a threat is. And according to what these folks were able to come up with, they were not threatened. So, what were some of the other problems that you found with that hearing, if you can call
Well,
it that?
Well, I found this to be a problem. They told us who the witnesses were going to be, and when the witnesses uh, didn't add up to par, they went and got other folks. And you know, I allowed them to go ahead and speak, even though I could have
Yeah.
objected to it because they came in talking about me and my character. Well, me and wanting to get my way, and that's totally not true. They were not
Yeah.
even talking about the conversation because the only people that were privy to the conversation was me and Miss Chandra Atkinson.
Hmm.
Everybody else, that was what they would call hearsay. And I could have objected to them coming in because they were supposed to talk about that. What primary information do you know about the incident that happened? They didn't have any information, so they talked about other stuff. And even
Right.
when they talked about other stuff, I asked them, "Well, have I ever been ugly to you? Haven't I always been nice to you?" The answer was yes. From every
Yeah.
witness they brought in there, they said that I didn't. Have I asked for special favors? They said no. Have I asked you to walk inside a building with me? Because the manager, June Slaughter, she was trying to say that she she threw out a general statement saying that drivers ain't supposed to walk you in the building. Uh, and I asked her, I said, well, did you get a complaint that I asked somebody to walk in the building? She said no. I
Well,
said, now,
everything way that they tried to say, it just fell flat. And it was very obvious that they were put up to doing this. It was
oh
very,
yeah,
very obvious to everybody in there that the board was not properly formed because you had members of the Macon Transit Authority sitting there and when they were not supposed to be on the board. Mr. Frank Tompkins was there. He's chair of the board. He was not supposed to be on this board deciding on your disciplinary action. And then Lynn Farmer was there, who's also on this transit authority. She was on there, and then the other guy was the a vice president of for Macon Transit, the guy with the ponytail, and he wasn't supposed to be there either. And
right.
then the person, Mr. Strozier, that was leading the charge, he just got all fumbled and his tongue just was twisted all up in there. So, needless to say, no case was proved that you threatened anybody. As a matter of fact, the ladies said they ended up saying, no, no, I wasn't threatened. So, my question is, what kind of case can you come out with? What they ought to do is to apologize to you and hope that they haven't violated any serious federal regulations. It was a song and dance for Craig Ross on yesterday. And so I guess if you're trying to keep your job, you know that you've got a tyrant as a boss. You're trying to keep your job. I guess that's the way you do your song and dance. And I'm assuming
Absolutely.
that's just from me, but I kind of enjoyed being on your legal team yesterday.
Counselor, you was excellent. Stanley Cook.
Hey,
Everybody that came was so man. I was just elated to have that kind of support with me, and I really appreciate it. I want to let you know as I walked out the room, Mark Strozier came up to me and said, "Hey, we need to get there and work on some stuff." I said, "Me and you?"
what they
Yeah.
need to do is the next opening on the transit authority, they need to have you to join the transit authority. But I know that you have to have good sense to make decisions like that. And so I'll just kind of wait on that until Craig Ross is no longer there as head of the transit authority.
Well, Otis Red
So
Yeah,
did a tune called Respect.
yeah.
to that mic,
I say
Problem
Lord.
is,
Otis Red did a tune called Respect.
Yeah,
I just want a little respect,
right. Good
listen, the
afternoon,
problem with me.
Kimberly Gray Harmon. We're glad to have you on Ask Elaine. I know y'all are just so excited about the information from Miss Opie on EMCs, and y'all are checking to see if you're a member of an EMC. That's the first thing. And then join some of these EMC boards so you can go and eat you a free steak once a year and vote on some membership and stuff, and maybe get a check, as Herbert Denard says, a check. Or get a credit on your utility bill. So we want you to follow up on this. We know that most folks are Georgia Power, or what's the other one? Scam. Is What's the other
We
one?
have
Scam.
municipal power that comes
Uh
from the
huh.
cities, but on
But
the outskirts, a lot of
yeah,
people have EMCs.
yeah. So you need to check and find out because you may be missing out on some stuff. Thank you so much, Wade. And I am calling a news conference at the Water Board on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. I will be in the meeting room at your water board office, the Albert Billingsley office at 790 2nd Street, 790 2nd Street. And I will be there with a press conference, and I'm calling on all of you who can meet me there. I hope they open the doors. You never know down there from day to day whether they're going to let me in, but they treat me and Desmond Brown differently. We're the two Democrats and the two black folks on the water board, but they treat us differently and they change the rules at will. And I'm tired of it. They're trying to jack up your water bills. That's all they're talking about. And they have found millions and millions of maintenance items that have to be done. And their plan is to load it off on you, on your water bill. And we are determined we're not going to let them do that without a fight. So, y'all join me tomorrow morning at 10 at the Albert Billingsley Administrative Building, where you pay your water bill, 790 2nd Street, downtown, at your administrative water facility for a news conference where we're going to make some requests for on behalf of the citizens.
Okay, Miss Lucas, I'm gonna try to make it if they got a slot for
Okay.
me
Okay, I
on the bus.
understand.
Okay.
Don't get suspended again. No,
Well,
you know
well,
they're ready.
I call it good trouble. I'm not worried about getting suspended
Oh,
from
it's
down
good
there.
trouble.
But
It's definitely
yeah,
good
yeah,
trouble.
because
Thank you
this
so much.
information has to get out. Thank you so much for your support. This information got to get out. I'm gonna let you go. This information has to get out, and I want people to look at what's going on with me and know that you don't have to be afraid.
That's right.
The day of being afraid is over. We're exposing.
Yeah,
As Desmond Brown says, we're gonna be whistleblowing.
that's exactly right. And join with us and help us to advocate on your behalf. Because a number of us get together, folks get kind of nervous.
They
And
get
we're able to get
yeah.
some stuff done, but it's real hard. It's a slow process when you only have one or two trying to do stuff, and everybody's going to benefit from it. But you let just one or two people take all the heat and all the knocks and all the attacks and all of that. But you join in, and we're a stronger force the more people we have. We join together a couple of years ago to fight the proposed rate increase for the bus system. They were going to jack up the bus fares on people when we have a 27% poverty rate in this community. And we said, oh no, H no, because it's a gospel station. So I'm going to say H no. Y'all know what I want to say. But anyway, and we worked together with a group of fearless people, and we were able to back that up. I understand that there is a move to institute uh, fare increases going forward, and we're going to fight it. with all that we fought it with before, but we're going to need all of you. So Charlia Foster, my church member, has joined us. Miss Missionary, she says, yes, yes, there's power in numbers. Absolutely right. And Kimberly Gray Harmon is very familiar with all the things that are going on. She was there when the NAACP the other day fed the sanitation workers and the A. Philip Randolph. All of those groups were there. It was just wonderful. And the sanitation workers, it was in honor of Dr. King, and we paid tribute to the sanitation workers because Dr. King was in Memphis advocating for the sanitation workers when he was gunned down. And so we want to salute Gwen Westbrooks, the NAACP, A. Philip Randolph, the sorority, Kimberly Gray Harmon's sorority, and she's going to kill me because I can't say, she's going to put it up in a minute. Welcome Hildred Jones to Ask Elaine. We're going to hear from Senator Lucas about the things, the items that came before the General Assembly. And y'all got out of that. Yes, ma'am. Kimberly Gray Harmon, Gamma Phi Delta. Now do that. Okay.
You got it.
Gamma Phi Delta. They were a part of paying their respects to the sanitation workers on what, the third. It was a Thursday. And the food was delicious. It was delicious. They enjoyed it. Senator, welcome to Ask Elaine.
Glad to be here.
I'm glad you made it. Tell us quickly about Soul Jam.
Well, Soul Jam is May the 25th. It's always the Sunday before Memorial Day. And this year's lineup is Anthony Hamilton, one
Boy,
of
it's gonna be
R&B's
good.
Top singers. We also have 803 Fresh, Boots
They
on
do
the Grind.
boots on the ground.
Yeah, that lady's always got the fans.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have a big line dance thing too to kick it off, right?
Yeah, but
At the beginning of the
the
show.
$1,000 goes to the group who wins, not $1,000.
The group.
Yeah. In other words, they're gonna have groups of folks who doing line dances, and they're part of that group, and they win. They get part of that $1,000.
Oh, y'all need to be there. Where them boots at? Go ahead.
This session was kind of a unusual session. I introduced two bills that were local bills. One redistricted the Macon Water and Sewer Authority. They are too big. They represent almost 40,000 folks, 37,500. And of course, you're outnumbered. But what folks fail to realize, the demographics in Macon shows that Macon is a majority Black community, or a community of color. And the bills never got up. I introduced one that allows the mayor to seek a third term, as well as take the term limits off county commission.
Did anybody sign that one?
Nobody
that
signed
third
it but
term.
me. We never
Everybody
had a
was
delegation.
running, huh?
We never had a delegation meeting. And I think we didn't have a delegation meeting because the majority of the delegation is Democrats now.
Oh, yeah.
And so the president pro tem was always busy trying to sit down and talk to him.
John Kennedy.
About it. And we never did have one. We set up one meeting and the House went in at a different time than we went in. But normally we have a delegation meeting prior to the session. We meet with everybody, Board of Education, the Water Authority, county government, all folks who are concerned.
And they let y'all know what they would like for y'all to work on during the session. But I wonder when, because we at the county used to have a slot and go.
That's correct. But anyway, those bills didn't get heard. It didn't have the right amount of signatures. You got to have 2 senators out of 3 in order to sign it to come out of committee.
That came out of consolidation too, where you ended up, you used to have 1 senator.
No,
2. And 2 senators, and both of them had to kind of, agree on stuff. But we had some very fine representatives up there who went to Atlanta and allowed a third senator, Republican, into Bibb's legislative delegation to block anything that our Democratic senator might want to get done.
Well, what
Ain't that a pip?
they did it through reapportionment, but
Mhm.
the thing they did, they took the largest black precinct in my senatorial district out of it
And gave it to the
a
Republican.
Right.
Mhm.
So we're dealing with those kind of things, and then the Wednesday before Sinai die, we had a bill to
What's
come
Sinai die?
up. Sinai die is the last day of the 40-day session.
That's where y'all tear up paper
They
and
tear
throw
up
it up
paper.
in the
I get out of there.
air. They throw it all up in the air and celebrate and all that stuff.
I'll be
Anyway,
trying to
it's
get
the last day of the
I'd
session.
be trying to get to my vehicle so I can head south.
All right.
Head south and see Miss Lucas.
All right. He knows what to say, y'all.
But anyway,
Ah.
on the Soul Jam piece, early bird tickets are off Tuesday. The 15th is the
So
deadline.
people can get the $60 early bird tickets up until Tuesday, the 15th.
Right.
Oh, by the way, your Georgia taxes, they've given an extension on the time for filing your taxes. It was going to be April 15th, but it's May 1st. I read that from a news source today. So you've got a little more time in order to file your taxes. But the way things are going, you don't know what's going on, but you might ought to get them in on by May 1st.
We see it on television. Matter of fact, the NASDAQ, everything went up today. Trump proposed not doing anything for 90 days.
He backed up.
Well, you got a lot of folks, tariffs. When the ship comes in at the dock, when you get the stuff off the ship, you pay the tariff then. That means whoever has it, if it's Walmart or what's the place out there on off of Eisenhower, Best Buy, any of those things, that price on that tariff is added to the consumer who buys the product. And of course,
but these countries are telling Trump later for you impose this on us, we're going to impose this back on you. The bottom line is Trump is bankrupting this country. He is messing with every way of life, every facet of our lives. We have got to get ready. Get registered if you aren't. Get ready to vote. Elections for governor and a number of other positions are coming up next year. Oh, and I meant to mention that Danny Glover is talking about running against Sanford Bishop, our Sanford Bishop that's been in office for 16 terms and has so much seniority. He's the chair. If we vote right, next year he'll resume the chair of the Appropriations, the Agriculture Committee. How dare he do that? It's your right to run, but I'm certainly going to support Congressman Bishop in continuing. But I'm just hearing stuff that just doesn't make sense. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And I'm going to ask our engineer if we can have an additional maybe 10 minutes on our Ask Elaine today, because I just need that little extra time. Y'all want that extra time too, don't you? My sister Nita says amen. Hey, Commissioner and Senator Lucas, great show. Thank you so much, Mr. Host. Pastor Lisa, I was so sorry to hear that. Okay, Senator, would you go ahead with what we did at the state level?
Well, the bill that I introduced, it allows the mayor to run for a third term. Doesn't mean he's gonna get elected because folks have to vote. But
why'd you introduce it?
Because I got tired of folks saying this or that in the delegation.
So they had an opportunity to go with it or not.
Right.
So
we never had a delegation meeting.
Clear. Yeah.
The other thing is the two newly elected county commissioners were sworn in to fill the unexpired term of the former commissioner, yourself and Al Tillman.
Hmm.
That meant that under the consolidation charter, they could only run one more term,
Hmm.
and that's it. So they would be able to serve 9 years, and that's it, not 12 years. And we're the only consolidated government in the state of Georgia that has term limits.
Yeah.
We're the only one.
Yeah.
And it was
Y'all don't have term limits, do you?
no,
In
we
the
don't.
legislature?
No, we don't have term limits. They
Hmm.
proposed them when Democrats were in charge, but
Right.
when Republicans got in, they stopped talking about term limits because they running everything.
Our son Lenny has joined the show
Yeah,
too. He's on the show with us.
yeah. But what we've got to do. Elections have consequences.
They do. They
They
do.
have consequences. When you have 100,000 folks that look like me and you in Fulton County and DeKalb County that didn't vote, you see why Trump carried the state of Georgia. And what we've got to understand is that if we are part of the community, we got to educate ourselves, but we also need to know where we come from. You see, hindsight teaches you where you need to go in the future. Hindsight gives you the foresight to
Stay away from junk. That yeah.
jump or the direction you need to go in order for the future.
Pastor Lisa says it's strategic stealing. You're absolutely right. We want to welcome all of you for a sort of slightly extended version of Ask Elaine. We have two very, very special guests. We want to thank you if you're on AM, and thank you if you're on FM, and thank you for being right there on the Glory Live. We have Miss Deborah Opie, who is with Georgia Conservation Voters. And she's been talking about EMCs. And before we leave today, we're going to let her summarize the information that you missed if you were not on. We keep telling you, tune in each week to Ask Elaine. You find out some information that you're not going to find out anywhere else. And you can trust the information. You also will find out ways that you can get involved. So I meet people, Senator, who say, I want to get involved. How do I get involved? Well, and I tell them you can do this, you can do that, but listen in to Ask Elaine and you will have opportunities all the time to get involved. You can join me at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning at your water board administrative office at 790 2nd Street, which is the Albert Billingsley building. They were supposed to have Albert Billingsley's name on the front of it, but when they renovated, they took it down. This black man, one of the first black county commissioners, self-made contractor, was our late son Al's godfather, because Al's name was Albert James Lucas. He was Al's godfather, just a father figure to so many of our folks in our community, and that building was named for him. They've got his name on the back of the building. His daughters went down and said, we want our dad's name on the front. The board has already voted to have that name put back on the front of the building. But we have been told that it's got to be made. They've got to come up. Now, last time I looked, there are companies all over that can make these things. And it doesn't take forever. And so we're expecting Desmond, and I have all these battles to fight. Desmond, poor Desmond, has been blowing that whistle and having a hard time with these old low down dirty Republicans for all of this time. But I'm trying to help, trying to be his partner in relieving crime.
The,
So
the part of the problem is the districts are too big.
yeah,
With the plan I had, it created 7 water board seats for election. Uh, we have a county government, not a city and a county now. When you did, you had an appointment by the county and appointment by the city. Now there's only one government, so that appointment ought to be but one
there's no
appointment,
need in having
and
two
that
from
other
another
becomes
board.
an elected position. Under the plan that I propose, it created the 7 districts. Those 7 districts would be 22,000.
Hmm.
They would still be 5,000 more than your county commission
Right.
district, which represent the entire county.
Right. County commission is divided into 9 districts, and then your mayor makes the 10th commissioner. He's actually voted on citywide, but he is actually a commissioner. Y'all read the charter. There are 10 commissioners. The mayor is just a super commissioner and runs everything per the charter that a lot of folks voted for. That consolidation charter. It was a way of cutting the throat of the Black majority population in this community.
And Danny Glover was part of it.
And Danny Glover, who's talking about running against Sanford Bishop with all that experience, all that know-how, a learned attorney who serves well, has the support of sheriffs all over this district too that he represents, has the support of farmers, was able to get Black farmers millions, I think it was millions of dollars that they had been promised for years and years and years. That's Sanford Bishop. Now, why in the world would we trade him in for somebody that we're going to tell you some more about? Because he ran against me. He was paid to be put in a race against me when we had the very first race for the county. They paid for him to be moved into an apartment complex in the district, and Nikki Randall and James Beverly and who else was it? Miriam Paris went up there to Atlanta and changed the charter to allow him to run with less than a year's residency in the district. We're just going to tell it like it is. So how in the world does he have the nerve to run against such a wonderful elected official, effective, tenured elected official like Sanford Bishop? It's just a shame.
Well,
it's a shame.
The reason I introduced the bill is this. Lester Miller did things I didn't think he would do. For instance, the Black community have been complaining about these old burn-up houses, raggedy houses next to their house, and nobody did anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
He put the mayor's office in front, and he went to tearing them down. He went to tearing them down, cleaning off the lots, reseeding the lots, and then sell the lots for what the money that was owed on it for tearing the stuff down. The amphitheater. I talked about the amphitheater 20 years ago.
Yeah, you did. They stole your idea, which is a good thing.
I look at it still an idea, but
I said
it was. Listen, it was brought to me by Chuck Lavelle, who's a musician, and well-known musician. And not only that he did the Warming Center, he has started dealing with mental health over in the Unionville area with Dr. I think his name is Say or C.
Say.
Say.
Dr. Say.
Right.
It's a female.
He's also working on something to start doing houses in low-income areas.
Yeah. Mercer Medical Center is moving to the river to develop that.
And you think the mayor?
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
You talk about the Maker Mall.
Mm-hmm.
He took that over. And guess where they put it? They put it in the heart of our community.
Right.
So we have some things and new construction that's going on in our neighborhoods. And so when you take all those things that he has done Then what do you say?
You just give people an opportunity to share whether they agree with it or not. There are an awful lot of people who are opposed to a third term because they say that, you voted to disenfranchise Black folks and put 2 terms in place, and then the 3 terms for the county commissioners. So why change it now? And then there are some other folks who are in favor
Well,
of that 3rd term. I would have preferred a vote of the people, but that was not the way that thing was going to be done. It was done totally, or will be done totally, through the legislature.
that is
So y'all need to have town hall meetings. Let folks know your feelings on it as to whether your legislative delegation needs to support it or not. What we did not do, Senator and Miss Opie, what we did not do was to have meetings to let the legislative delegation know what we wanted them to do this session.
that is absolutely
We did
correct.
not have meetings. Some of it was orchestrated by your buddy John Kennedy. And some of it we just didn't do. And I don't understand why, because if you don't have the town halls, if you don't get with this legislative delegation, they're going to do what they want to do because they have not heard from you. So I would strongly suggest that we have town hall meetings. I think NAACP is planning to have some town hall meetings where that their first one that was held that Stanley Stewart did in District 3 at Mount Moriah, you were there. Floyd Griffin was there. I was there. And Stanley Stewart. That's who was there. And so we can't let our legislative delegation off the hook. We have got to make them tell us where they are on stuff. Otherwise, you might as well keep the Republicans up there because we know they aren't for us. So we got to do better. We've got to do better. You hear that? For more information, we're going to ask you to include your information in the chat so that people will be able to make contact and get more information. Senator, you're supposed to be back. Well, you both are back next. They're going to be back next week, y'all. So we get to hear from them again. Thank you so very much. Those who tuned in on AM, FM, right here on the Glory Live, and thank you to this wonderful station and to our engineer who gave us, he didn't give it to us, we got to pay for it, but anyway, this extra time. But it is always our pleasure to bring this information to you. We'll see you again next Wednesday, 3 p.m. for another edition of Ask Elaine.
Don't forget Soul Jam.
Soul Jam, May 25th.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W3.